Controlled zero grazing. For my case, I do use controlled zero grazing, and these are my reasons why I practice controlled zero grazing. So I have a zero grazing unit, or my cow shed is constructed in the zero grazing manner. So, but you'll notice in your shed, if you have a cow shed that can hold 6 cows, 5, 2, 10, or more than that, during feeding, you'll notice that there are cows which feed a lot. There are cows which do bully the others. There are some cows which eat slowly. Others eat so fast. So for my case, I came up with the conclusion of practicing controlled zero grazing. By controlled zero grazing, you'll note all my cows, I have tied their necks with a rope. During feeding, I will tie them at the feeding trough. One, I will make sure they have consumed the food, the napier grass or the silage or the dry matter. One, I will make sure they have consumed their food. That is number one. In form of concentrates, I'll also make sure they have consumed their concentrates to full until they are full. That is number one. Number two, after they have fed, I will untie the rope from the feeding trough. I take them to the water point and I make sure they have drunk water. So number one, I've monitored my feeding and I've monitored the drinking of water. Remember, in form of water, 85% of the water that your animal is drinking is water. The more your animal consumes water, the more the animal is productive. On the other side, in form of milk is concerned. And remember to feed your animals with fresh water. Fresh water. Avoid giving your animals sour water or the water you've washed your clothes or utensils with. Avoid. Just provide your animals with fresh water. So number one, I will monitor my feeding in general. Number two, I will monitor the sleeping of the animal. So one, after I've tied the animal to the water point, it will drink water until it's full. After that, I will take it to the sleeping area, or the cubicle where this particular animal sleeps, and I tie it at the sleeping area. So number one, I will avoid unnecessary movements in the shed. Remember, dairy animals should not wander around. It is just wasting a lot of energy, and it is supposed to be making milk as it is sleeping. Although you'll notice as you've tied the animals, they will stand at a particular time. After some times they will sleep. So one, the reason of me using controlled zero grazing is I want to monitor my feeding and I want to monitor the animal. You'll notice in your shed you have an animal which has given birth, which is about to give birth. You are practicing steaming up. You'll notice you have maybe a heifer and you've mixed it with a milker. Maybe you've mixed a bulling heifer with a milker in one shed, maybe because you don't have an extra shed to keep the extra heifer or the extra bulling heifer or the extra milker. So, and you'll notice in form of salt, different animals have their different salt. I will be making a video of different salts of different animals. I will make a video of it. So a bulling heifer, maybe you might be feeding it with the salt of making it being on heat, and your milker, you're just feeding it with the salt meant for milk. So if you mix the animals, you might see your milker eating the food of the bulling heifer, and you might be having issues. I hope you are getting my point, I hope you are getting what I'm trying to say. Controlled zero grazing helps a lot, because a steaming up animal, you are feeding it different than how you're feeding a milker. So what if this milker consumes the food for the steaming up? You see, there is an issue. What if the steaming up consumes a food for a bulling heifer in form of concentrates? My point is in the concentrates, because during feeding, you'll feed your animals different. You feed your animals depending with production, as how I do at my farm. The non-productive animals are in-calf heifers, bulling heifers, weaners, and calves in milk. I will not feed them how I will feed my milkers. A milker giving me 20 liters, I will not feed it the same way I will feed a milker giving me 35 liters in a day. You'll feed the animal depending with the age or condition and the production. So my point is, controlled zero grazing. You control everything. You control the feeding, you control the the sleeping time, and the animal will adjust to that schedule. So that's what I've been practicing for the last 7 years, although I started it at my parents' farm, but currently I'm practicing it at my farm. Remember, this is Grazing farm. It's a young farm led by a young guy. All people in general, in form of workers, they are young people who make Grazing farm the farm of your choice. Remember, Grazing farm, we help you in cultivating solution to yield success. So that is my way of practicing my controlled zero grazing. So for that, remember to subscribe, comment, like, share this video, and if you might be having any support of any manner, you may support us, and it will be highly appreciated. So with that, thank you guys.